gentlemen, welcome to the inauguration ceremony of International Conference on Library and Information Science, ICLIS 2023, which is a large and exclusive Sri Lankan conference for the library professionals, academics, and researchers in Sri Lanka, as well as in overseas, organized by Sri Lanka Library Association. This year's conference theme is Libraries as Catalyst for Transformation, Resilient Nations for a Better World. We in Sri Lanka commence any special occasion with the divine blessings and the light. So, ladies and gentlemen, may I invite our dignitaries to join us with the lighting of the oil lamp. First and foremost, I would like to invite our chief guest, Ms. Himali Jinadasa, Coordinator, Sri Lanka UNESCO New Delhi Trust Office. ICLIS 2023 is graced with her presence, our guest of honor, Ms. Rubili Senivaratna, Senior Manager, Quality Assurance and Compliance, Chartered Institute of Personnel Management, Sri Lanka. Followed by today's keynote speaker, Mrs. Vicky McDonald, President-elect, International Federation of Library Information and Institutions. And I cordially invite Dr. R.D. Anandthissa, President, Sri Lanka Library Association. We will also be joined by Conference Chair, Dr. M. Masrufa, Convener, Research Committee of Sri Lanka Library Association. We have with us Professor Anit Senaratna, Chairman, National Science Foundation, Sri Lanka. Followed by Professor Nanda Dharmaratna, Chairman, National Library and Documentation Services Board, Sri Lanka. We also cordially invite Dr. Sepalika Sudasinghe, Director General, National Science Foundation, Sri Lanka. My next invitation to Mr. W. Sunil, Director General, National Library and Documentation Services Board, Sri Lanka. He will be followed by Dr. Mr. Pradeepa Wijetunga, Director, National Institute of Library and Information Sciences, University of Colombo, Sri Lanka. We also have with us Dr. S.H. Batul, Assistant Professor, Institute of Information Management, University of Punjab, Chair, Association for the Information Science and Technology, South Asian Chapter, and followed by our immediate past President, Sri Lanka Library Association, Dr. Ruwan Gamake. We also have with us Dr. W.M.T. Virasinghe, President, University Librarians Association of Sri Lanka, 2022-2023, followed by Mr. Preeti Liyanage, President-elect, Sri Lanka Library Association. We will also be joined by Mrs. Waruni Gangabadarachi, General Secretary, Sri Lanka Library Association. And my final invitation to our Conference Secretary, ICLIS 2023, Mrs. Divya Jaina. Thank you very much for giving lighting to this occasion. I'm really excited to note that this year conference has attracted most of renowned resource persons and representatives from many regional bodies. With such a diverse and dynamic representation in our audience, we cannot wait anymore. So let's invite Dr. M.M. Masrufa, Conference Chair, ICLIS 2023, to formally welcome the gathering.
Distinguished guests, Ladies and gentlemen, good morning everyone. It is with great pleasure I deliver this welcome address to the International Conference on Library and Information Science 2023 under the theme Libraries as Catalyst for Transformation, Resilient Nations for a Better World, organized by the Sri Lanka Library Association. Today, on 27 June 2023. It's a real honor and privilege to serve as the chair of this international conference. And also, it gives me great pleasure to extend you all a very warm welcome on behalf of the Sri Lanka Library Association. Especially, I feel extremely glad to welcome our esteemed chief guest today, Ms. Hemali Jinadasa, Coordinator, Sri Lanka UNESCO New Delhi Cluster Office for Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Nepal, the Maldives, and Sri Lanka. And I warmly welcome our guest of honor, Mrs. Ruwani Sanivaratna, Senior Manager, Quality Assurance and Compliance, Chartered Institute of Personnel Management, Sri Lanka. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome the keynote speaker, Mrs. Vicky McDonald, President-elect, International Federation of Library Associations and Institutions. I am obliged to welcome Dr. Ananda Tissa, the President of Sri Lanka Library Association, the General Secretary, Mrs. Varuni Gangabadarachi, and all the council members of the Sri Lanka Library Association. And also, I warmly welcome Dr. Pradeepa Vijayatunga, Director, National Institute for Library and Information Science, University of Colombo, Dr. Saidahina Batul, Chair, the Association for Information Science and Technology, South Asian Chapter, Professor Ranjit Seyanaratna, Chairman, National Science Foundation, Prof. Nanda Dharmaratna, Chairman, National Library and Documentation Services Board, Dr. Sepali Sudhasingha, Director General, National Science Foundation, Mr. W. Sunil, Director General, National Library and Documentation Services Board, and Dr. Ruwan Gamage, the immediate past president of Sri Lanka Library Association, to this remarkable event. I also delighted to welcome Dr. Taranga Ranasinghe, President, University Librarians Association of Sri Lanka. And also I warmly welcome the special invitees, session chairs, paper presenters, reviewers, evaluators, and all the participants. I wish to introduce briefly the theme and the reason for the mode of this conference. Dear ladies and gentlemen, library and information services play a pivotal role in the quality enhancement of life of people of different walks. Integrated library and information sciences and smart technologies such as digitalization, library automation, big data, application of artificial intelligence, robotics appliances, and the Internet of Things play a pivotal role in sustainable library services in the 21st century. We expect information literate, health literate, functional literate individuals with entrepreneurial skills, inclusive society apart from gender parities, informed citizens, and a world free of hunger and poverty. ICLIS 2023 will take place virtually due to the situation associated with the pandemic, economic, and financial crisis exist across the globe and especially in Sri Lanka. I feel this conference theme is a very important and timely theme to discuss the global issues related to the transformation of societies. Sri Lanka Library Association collaborates with International Federation of Library Associations, its Asia and Oceania Regional Division, Association for Information Science and Technology South Asian Chapter, Maldives Library Association, Indian Association of Teachers Library and Information Science, National Institute for Library and Information Science, University of Colombo, and the National Library and Documentation Services Board, Sri Lanka. I sincerely believe that the outcome of this ICLIS 2023 will contribute to the activities of transforming nations by providing equitable access to information, quality education, and innovative smart library and information services. At this juncture, I wish to highlight the events of today's conference. Following the inaugural session, there will be 3 parallel technical sessions under 6 tracks. We have received 51 papers from national and international researchers of LIS that underwent double-blind peer review, and 30 papers have been accepted for presentations. The best paper has been selected to award at the end of this day. Next, a plenary session has been organized which will be graced by 4 prominent experts, invited speakers in the field who represent each collaborators. At last, I also extend my gratitude and warm welcome to the organizing committee of the ICLIS 2023 and the research committee of Sri Lanka Library Association. My special thanks go to Ms. Divya Janan, the conference secretary, and the designer Mrs. T.M.C. Hansamali, and Mrs. Tushara Shanavaratna, who are instrumental behind the scene. Moreover, I would like to thank all others who have contributed to making this event a success. Once again, I warmly welcome you all to ICLIS 2023. Thank you for being here with us today. And my heartiest congratulations to all the presenters and participants. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam, for your very, very sincere, warm and welcoming address. On this note, ladies and gentlemen, let me now take a little glimpse of the entire day learning opportunity in this fantastic forum. Without further ado, I would like to call upon Dr. Ananda Tissa, President, Sri Lanka Library Association, to address the gathering.
First of all, I wish you good morning. You are welcome to join us today, our International Conference on Library and Information Science, ICLIS 2023, which has been scheduled to be held virtually. As the President of SLLA, I would like to extend my heartfelt congratulations to all of the Council and Executive members. Library Association of a country is the key organization that advocates equitable access to information needs of the community and helps to improve services to library users and support development of the profession of librarianship. Sri Lanka Library Association was established with the object to promote the establishment and development of the library services in the country. The conference chair, Dr. M.M. Masrufa, Senior Assistant Librarian, of the Southeastern University of Sri Lanka and convener of LIS Research Group of the Sri Lanka Library Association. ICLIS conference success depends on the dedication Ms. Divya Jain, conference secretary, members of the advisory committee, council and the executive members of the SLLA, and members of the review panel and all the subcommittees. There is no doubt that this international conference would pave a path of boost the research productivity and research impact of the exploratory publication of LIS sector of Sri Lanka. Thank you.
Ishala, please unmute yourself. Thank you very much, sir, for the clear and interesting overview of SLLA and ICLIS 2023. No one was great without a touch of inspiration. So it's time for us to move to the next event of the agenda by inviting the guest of honor, ICLIS 2023. She is a well-qualified person in productivity, quality assurance, and business excellence. She was the chairperson of the National Convention in Quality Productivity 2021 and the Assistant Secretary of Sri Lanka Association of Advancement of Quality and Productivity. Moreover, her academic contribution as a visiting lecturer at SLIT Business School is also outstanding. She is none other than Mrs. Rubini Senimiratna, Senior Manager, Quality Assurance and Compliance, Chartered Institute of Personnel Management, Sri Lanka. Dear Madam, virtual screen is yours now.
Guest is Himali Jinadasa, President Library Association, Dr. Ananda Tissa, plenary speakers, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a great honor for me to speak with you today on this very momentous occasion. The Sri Lanka Library Association is hosting the International Conference on Library and Information Science 2023 with the theme Libraries as Catalysts for Transformation, Resilient Nation for a Better World. I am delighted to have the opportunity to address such a talented gathering of dedicated staff members and other invited guests. Dear distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, in line with the theme of the conference, I have chosen a timely important topic that is important for all attendees of the conference: the importance of quality assurance in library services. Libraries can act as a catalyst for transformation. Let's move to my presentation now. These are the few elements that I am going to discuss today with my presentation. Moving to the introduction, libraries can act as a catalyst for transformation because we are in the process of rebuilding the economy. Libraries are the heart of communities, whether the community is a university, professional institution, college, small, rural or urban center, works with libraries to equip them with the knowledge, skills, and support to meet the never-evolving needs of their communities. Quality assurance plays a vital role in ensuring effective and efficient library services. Let's explore why quality assurance is essential and how it benefits both the libraries and its users. What is quality assurance? There are modern definitions as well as traditional definitions. I firmly believe that quality assurance plays a vital role in ensuring effective and efficient library services in many ways. QA refers to the systematic process of monitoring and evaluating services to ensure the predetermined standards. In the library sector, QA focuses on maintaining and improving the quality of services offered to patrons and help libraries identify areas for improvement and implement necessary changes to enhance user satisfaction. There are key factors which can improve library services through QA. The first one is enhanced user satisfaction. The second one, effective resource management. Third one, ensuring accuracy and reliability. Maintaining compliance and standards is the fourth one. Continuous improvement and building trust and reputation. Enhancing user experience. Library users expect high-quality services that cater to their needs. QA helps identify gaps, reduce errors, and optimize services delivery, leading to increased user satisfaction and loyalty. These are a few examples enhancing user experience and user interface of a library. Personalization, clear communication, special proof and testimonials, efficient performance, etc. Moving on, the second one is effective resource management. QA helps libraries optimize resource allocation by identifying inefficiencies and areas for improvement. Libraries can streamline workflows, eliminate redundancies, and maximize the impact of available resources. These are a few examples of effective resource management. Moving to the third one, ensuring accuracy and reliability is another important factor. In the service sector, accuracy and reliability are crucial. QA ensures that library services such as cataloging, indexing, and information retrieval are accurate and reliable. This helps users find the information they need quickly and with confidence, building trust in the library's offerings. These are few examples of ensuring accuracy and reliability. Moving to the fourth one, maintaining compliance and standards. Libraries often operate within the regulatory framework and adhere to the industry standards. QA enables libraries to access their compliance with the regulations and standards. By conducting regular audits and assessments, libraries can ensure they meet legal requirements and uphold professional norms. These are few examples of maintaining compliance and standards in the library services. ISO standards for the library. ISO standards provide guidelines for ensuring quality in various industries. ISO 11620 for library performance indicators or ISO 9001 is for quality management systems. These standards play a crucial role in ensuring quality, efficiency, and interoperability within library services and operations. ISO 11799 is another significant standard for libraries focusing on the preservation of library materials. But by adhering to ISO 11799, libraries can ensure the longevity and accessibility of their valuable holdings, safeguarding them for future generations. Interlibrary loan services and virtual aspects of library cooperation benefit from ISO 18626. This standard outlines protocols and data formats for the exchange of requests and transactions between libraries. Moreover, ISO standard also address digital aspects of library operations. ISO 10160 and ISO 10161 focus on the interlibrary loan of digital items specifying protocols and message for electronic document exchange. ISO 20775 is a noteworthy standard that deals with digital object identifiers for libraries. DOIs are unique identifiers assigned to digital resources enabling persistent and reliable linking to online content. By adopting ISO 20775, libraries can ensure effective management and long-term accessibility of digital resources, improving discoverability and citation accuracy. By adhering to these standards, libraries can provide better service to their users and contribute to the broader goals of information access and knowledge dissemination. And the fifth one is continuous improvement. QA fosters a culture of continuous improvement within library services. QA promotes a proactive approach by addressing challenges and embracing emerging trends in the library sector. And the final one is building trust and reputation. This is a very important factor. Quality assurance is crucial in building trust and maintaining a positive reputation. By prioritizing QA, libraries demonstrate their commitment to excellence, which enhances their standing in the community. To obtain ISO certification for a library, there are criteria to consider. The first one is quality management system. Implement a robust quality management system that outlines procedures, policies, and responsibilities to ensure consistent quality in library services. Moving to the second one, customer focus. Prioritize customer satisfaction by understanding their needs and providing continuous improvement. And the third one is information security. Implement measures to protect sensitive information and data. And the fourth one is collection development. Establish a systematic approach to selecting, acquiring, and managing library materials. And the fifth one is service accessibility. Ensure libraries accessible to all individuals, including those with disabilities, by providing suitable facilities, assistive technologies, and accommodating diverse needs. And the sixth one is continuous improvement. Foster a culture of continuous improvement by setting objectives, conducting regularly assessments, and taking actions to enhance library services and processes. And the seventh one is staff competence. Invest in staff training and development to enhance their skills, knowledge, and competencies, enabling them to provide high quality service support to library services. Preservation and conservation is another important factor to implement measures to safeguard library material, including proper handling, storage, conservation techniques to ensure their long-term availability and usability. Stakeholder engagement. Engagement with stakeholders such as library users, staff, community members to gather feedback, understand their expectations, and involve them in decision-making process. And the final one is environmental responsibility. This is to promote sustainability practices within the library, such as energy efficiency, waste reduction, responsible resource consumption to minimize the library's environmental impact. It is important to note that ISO certification requirements may vary depending on the specific ISO standards chosen. Therefore, it is advisable to consult the specific ISO standard and engage with the certification bodies for detailed guidance and compliances. Libraries play an essential role in the lives of communities and academic institutions and in human development. Libraries are not just cultural institutions, they contribute to the economic well-being of the society. Accordingly, the library community must continue to advocate on behalf of its users for openness and less restrictive policies and legislation regarding the access and the use of content. In conclusion, while the nature and the shape of libraries continue to evolve and respond to users' changing needs, what must endure are the underlying values that libraries bring to our societies. Equitable access to information, networking, and the sharing of expertise and resources, and being a trusted brand with quality assurance activities in libraries. This will act as a catalyst for the transformation resilient nations for a better world. I would like to thank you for your attention to this presentation on the importance of quality assurance in library services. Thank you.
Our heartfelt gratitude to you, madam. Your presence here is of much value to us. Thank you very much, and please accept the token of appreciation from ICLIS 2023.
Thank you.
Sri Lanka Library Association is a professional organization that collaborates with other professional institutions and organizations, both nationally and internationally. She is the coordinator, Sri Lanka UNESCO New Delhi Cluster Office for Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Nepal, the Maldives, and Sri Lanka. Let me cordially invite Ms. Himali Jinadasa to address the gallery.
Good morning. I believe there's a recording. Good morning, distinguished speakers, members of the organizing committee, members of the Sri Lanka Library Association, for extending an invitation for the International Conference in Library and Information Science 2023. It is an honor and privilege to participate at today's conference, Libraries as Catalysts for Transformation, Resilient Nations for a Better World, as the chief guest. Since its creation in 1945, UNESCO introduced to the international arena what we now might call a World Book Policy. This unprecedented initiative had a clear positive impact on book development, on literacy, and on education throughout the world. The conservation and protection of the world's inheritance of books, as well as the call for international cooperation to promote access to publications throughout the world, are enshrined in UNESCO's constitution. This allowed the organization to launch, since its birth, what we may call a World Book Policy. The book, as an instrument of freedom at UNESCO, was almost never questioned. For René Mahieu, Director General from 1960 to 1974, the book was the individual machine tool par excellence, the implement constantly available everywhere, the faithful companion of personal quests throughout, the collective treasure of knowledge and wisdom passed on by past generations. The Chinese philosopher Ling Yutang, who was the first chief of the UNESCO Division of Arts and Letters, in his 1937 work, The Art of Living, compared the act of reading to a journey in time and space, an excursion into a different world, a way of discussing with great people. M.L. Devellini, the head of the organization's division of publications, explained that books can liberate what is truly human in man and set off the spark connecting his here and now, both with all time past and with any other point in the inhabited universe. The depository of books, the library, have been symbolic of beacons of enlightenment and intellectual advancement, providing as a theme of this conference, as it reiterates, catalyst for transformation, ensuring resilient nations for a better world. The urgency to safeguard these depositories of wisdom cannot be emphasized enough to support the progress of future generations. Often the destruction of libraries has been a recurring tragedy throughout history, and more recently, one of the first areas for funding cuts. The burning of the Great Library of Alexandria in the 3rd century BC, the Library of Baghdad in the 13th century, and the destruction of the National Library of Bosnia and Herzegovina during the Bosnian War in the 20th century, and here in Sri Lanka, the Jaffna Library, which resulted in 97,000 books and olive manuscripts destroyed, denotes the symbolic nature of these beacons of learning. With regard to the Jaffna Library, UNESCO, incidentally in collaboration with the Ford Foundation, tried to restore the peninsula's intellectual hub with a program to restore facilities, including an auditorium with an audiovisual section, a mobile library so that the collection could be accessible to rural schools, further documenting the priceless books that had been lost. The UN 2030 Agenda seeks to create a world with universal literacy. Promoting this vision is at the very heart of our library's mandate. The UNESCO Institute for Lifelong Learning on the library's role in supporting natural literacy efforts recommend that libraries should be involved in a policy dialogue surrounding literacy and ensure that libraries are an integral part of local and national literacy strategies and efforts, enabling libraries to contribute to a literate environment that encourages everyone to develop, enhance, and sustain literacy skills within a lifelong learning perspective. Governments must therefore ensure that libraries are able to provide free access to reading materials, literacy activities and information both in print and online in a safe and friendly environment where families and individuals can read and learn together, ensuring that libraries are inclusive and have the knowledge and resources to provide relevant literacy materials in a welcoming space for marginalized, vulnerable and minority language groups, as a convenient hub where diverse groups can find relevant literacy and materials and support. Institutionalizing professionalization and invest in ongoing training for all library staff, also involving the use of ICT to develop and sustain literacy and digital skills. UNESCO has also developed guidelines to strengthen libraries to support family literacy and learning using libraries to serve as partners in raising awareness of the important role played by families in developing the literary skills of children and adults. To contribute to an intergenerational culture of reading and lifelong learning. Out of a number of initiatives to refer to this year, we honor World Book and Copyright Day in order to promote the pleasure of books and reading. UNESCO is organizing a collection of books for the benefit of Libraries Without Borders, an NGO which promotes access for vulnerable populations to education, culture, and information. Another is to establish a World Book Capital Network Charter, which affirms and sets the guidelines for publishing and allowing for freedom of expression of creativity through books. The book capital for the year has been set up to be Accra in Ghana. As promising as all of these initiatives sounds, they have a common assumption, which is with engaging with the traditional notion of a library or a book. However, the notion of libraries and books are ever changing. I am pleased to inform you that UNESCO has not overlooked the digital changes of mediums and have been working extensively to adopt to the forthcoming digital age. For example, UNESCO and our partners launched the Translate a Story initiative to facilitate home-based early age reading, launched as part of efforts to support learning continuity during the COVID-19 pandemic, as millions of children could not go to school. The initiative has contributed to producing over 9,000 resources, books and math games around 103 languages on our web-based platform developed through a partnership between UNESCO and the Norwegian Agency for Development Cooperation, and provides high-quality early grade reading books that can be accessed for reading on digital devices or for printing. Many of the languages on the Global Digital Library are indigenous languages, which is a theme of this year's World Book and Copyright Day, as part of the International Decade of Indigenous Languages 2022-32, led by UNESCO. A large percentage of the 6,700 spoken languages mapped by UNESCO are indigenous. Every language on UNESCO's World Atlas of Languages reflects a worldwide view and knowledge system, and each one relies on education and intergenerational transmission to avoid extinction, reducing cultural diversity. Digital technologies also engaged learners in different ways during the pandemic. UNESCO and the Global Digital Library mobilized over 100 young school students and their teachers in Bangladesh in the framework of the Translate a Story campaign. They embarked on the translation of 500 books from English into Bangla and 5 ethnic minority languages, enabling learners in remote areas of Bangladesh, including visually impaired children, to access reading material in their mother tongues. In the age of TikTok and social media, the means of receiving and storytelling are ever changing. However, the value of a book and a library, whether digital or physical, will be consistently immeasurable in the eyes of UNESCO. And we commit ourselves to ensuring that its value is preserved in forms that balance the past with the present and future, adding to the new innovations and knowledge creation that is added as literature into this field today. Libraries are perhaps one of the most powerful tools towards progress and power in a country. This is why libraries are attacked to destroy a society's knowledge systems and culture. On a personal note, my commitment to supporting libraries in Sri Lanka includes an initiative I implemented while Director, Secretariat for Coordinating the Peace Process, SCOP, at the Presidential Secretariat, in collaboration with the Asia Foundation, with the support of the Navy, to deliver a substantial number of books for school libraries in the northern and eastern provinces during the war. The books of the Asia Foundation have filled many school libraries throughout the country. I also grew up with these well-illustrated and interesting books, which drew me to the library at my school to escape to another, more colorful world. I should mention on a sad note that this year the Asia Foundation Books for Asia program ends after 60 years. It is fitting to mention that the last tranche, including 6,300 books, will be delivered to more than 100 rural schools through the UNESCO Associated Schools Network. This program was supported through the enduring commitment of Mr. Anton Nallathami, Director of the Asia Foundation Books for Asia program in Sri Lanka. I'm happy to note that Kanya Piris, Program Manager for Let's Read, who also works on this program, is scheduled to speak later today. I'm confident that all members of the Sri Lanka Library Association, as gatekeepers to knowledge and progress, guard well the depositories of knowledge that are catalysts for resilient, transformational change for nations, as this year's theme for the International Conference in Library and Information Science denotes. Thank you so much for your kind attention. I wish the organizers of this significant national conference the
Thank you very much for your insightful words on the libraries and their development, and also the best wishes you gave for us, madam. Please accept the token of appreciation from ICLIS 2023.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
libraries as catalyst for transformation, resilient nations for a better world. Ladies and gentlemen, now we are ready to the most awaited agenda item of the conference. Yes, your guess was true. So let's listen to the theme of the entire conference. I cordially invite one of our SLLA members with fellowship, Mrs. Tushari Senaviratna, Senior Assistant Librarian, Morato University of Sri Lanka, to introduce today's keynote speaker to the audience.
Vicky MacDonald is a recognized leader in the library and information sector. Spanning 4 decades, her career has included leadership roles in public, academic, and state libraries. Her professional interests include a client-centered approach to designing services and spaces, digital inclusion, services to First Nation people, and a commitment to delivering lifelong learning opportunities for the community and profession. In 2016, her national and international experience led to her appointment as State Librarian and Chief Executive Officer of State Library of Queensland. She understands the need for a strong, relevant, and innovative library service, and this is reflected in State Library's achievement under her leadership. In her current role, Vicky provides strategic leadership for a significant program to transfer state library services, collections, and spaces through State Library Digital Strategy, Digital by Design. State Library is recognized for its services to First Nation communities and for documenting and making accessible content related to Queensland First Nation peoples. To ensure that State Library retains its world-class status, she is championing the development of a strategy to renew spaces within the nationally recognized building. Vicky, IFLA President-elect, and will commence her 2-year term at IFLA President in August 2023.
So it's come up with my, it's not working. Here we are. You put it? Yeah. Right. So where's my speaking?
Madam, it's visible. We can see your screen. I am much
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. I was just getting my screens sorted. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the opportunity to talk with you today, and thank you for the invitation to speak at the International Conference on Library and Information Science. I'd particularly like to thank Dr. Masroof and Dr. Pramila Gamage for inviting me to speak today. Today, I'm going to share with you my thoughts on how libraries can be catalysts for transformation. And I'll also discuss some of the work that IFLA has been leading in recent years. And I'll also share with you some of the work that is being done by the library where I work as well. So my entire career, as you've just heard, has been spent in libraries, public, academic, and state libraries. And one of our strengths as a profession is our willingness to share and collaborate. And this is one of the themes that I will also explore today. As you've just heard, I'm the State Librarian and CEO at the State Library of Queensland in Brisbane, Australia, and here's a photograph of the building within the heart of Brisbane City. The State Library of Queensland is a reference and research library, and many of our activities are similar to what is undertaken by a national library. As you've just heard, I'm privileged to be a member of the current ICLIS Governing Board, and in August I will commence my 2-year term as ICLIS President. This is a photo of the Governing Board when we met in The Hague in December just last year. But since this photograph was taken, Loida Garcia-Fibo has joined the Governing Board, replacing Halo Locker as one of the representatives. As you may know, ICLIS is the global voice of the field and represents the library and information profession. It has an active membership of over 1,600 members. They are library associations, leading institutions and players in the library field, and they come from over 140 countries from around the world. ICLIS has well-established relations with the United Nations, UNESCO, and other international organisations. And together with other members, ICLIS works to set the professional agenda and develop standards for library services to improve access to information and cultural heritage resources, and to improve access largely around the world, but also to advocate for the place of libraries at the heart of the local and global policy. So much of the work that's being done by ICLIS complements the work that I know that the Sri Lanka Library Association is also undertaking. And of course, the Sri Lanka Library Association is a member of ICLIS. So here is the ICLIS vision to power literate, informed and participatory societies. I believe that the conference theme of libraries as catalysts for transformation, resilient nations for a better world, really aligns well with ICLIS vision and the work that we do across the globe. This is an image of a photograph that I was in Athens in 2017, and the work of ICLIS is very much enhanced by over 1,100 passionate and committed members of its professional committees, regional committees, and advisory committees, and I'd like to acknowledge that commitment today. I'm aware that there's colleagues from Sri Lanka who are actively participating in ICLIS committees. And on behalf of ICLIS, I thank you for your commitment to the library and information profession, but also your willingness to share the work of ICLIS. Through the Asia-Oceania Regional Committee, I had the opportunity to work with Pramila Gamage on a publication to recall the work of SDGs in the Asia-Oceania region. So a big hello to Pramila today as well. So as I said, this photograph was taken at the ICLIS Global Vision Workshop in Athens in 2017. And as volunteers, we came together to develop the global vision, which has formed the ICLIS strategy that we are now working to. The values in pursuing the mission of ICLIS, the values that ICLIS embraces are the endorsement of the principles of freedom of access to information, ideas and works of imagination, and in freedom of expression as embodied in Article 19 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. We also value the belief that people, communities and organisations need universal and equitable access to information, ideas and works of imagination for their social, educational, cultural, democratic and economic well-being. We also have a conviction that the delivery of high quality library and information services helps guarantee that access. And we also have a commitment to promote and value diversity and inclusion, notably as regards to age, citizenship, disability, ethnicity, gender identity, geographical location, language, political philosophy, phrase, religious beliefs, sex, sexual orientation, or socioeconomic status, and to actively pursue relevant policies and practices. So these values very much underpin the work of what we do, and they're very much in our work as in the profession and very much within our DNA. But I believe that these values cannot be taken for granted. Now more than at any other time in our careers, they're being challenged. Across Australia, like many countries, the principle of freedom of access to information is being challenged. We have groups and individuals in our communities who want to restrict access to information, ban books, object to programs that seek to be inclusive. So freedom of information, as I said, is being challenged like never before. And as a profession, we need to be ready to act. One of the documents I'd like to share with you today is the ICLIS UNESCO Public Library Manifesto from 2022. I realise that delegates participating today come from many library sectors, but irrespective of whether you work in an academic, government, school or public library, I believe that the Public Library Manifesto is relevant to thinking about the role that libraries can play as catalysts for transformation. It is a key document that clearly articulates the purpose of the public library. It was approved by UNESCO in Paris in 1949. And it's, I think, useful to remember that that was at a time when the world was recovering from the turmoil of World War II and seeking peace. So it's really symbolic that UNESCO released the Public Library Manifesto at this time. The manifesto declares UNESCO's belief that public libraries are essential global institutions for the promotion of peace and education for all humanity. And importantly, the manifesto recognises the public library as a local centre of culture. The manifesto has been updated over time to reflect the changing role of libraries. And as I said, it was most recently updated in 2022, jointly by UNESCO and ICLIS. And you can see the commitments on this page, the importance of well-informed citizens exercising their democratic rights, the importance of education, as well as free and unlimited access to knowledge, thought, culture and information. And I'll talk a little bit about those shortly. The manifesto emphasises the role of the public library as a gateway to knowledge, a basic condition of lifelong learning, independent decision-making and cultural development of individuals and groups. Although the document is about public libraries, I think that these values and roles easily translate to all libraries, irrespective of what sector you're working in. And also this is available as a downloadable poster from the ICLIS site. Another framework that's really applicable to the work of the libraries is the 2030 Development Agenda. And perhaps you've heard about the SDGs. On the 25th of September back in 2015, the 193 countries of the United Nations General Assembly, which includes Sri Lanka, adopted the 2030 Development Agenda, titled Transforming Our World, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. As you may know, there are 17 goals, sustainable development goals. They're broad, and each goal has targets that are being tracked. And it's important to note that these 17 goals apply to all countries across the globe, both developed countries and developing. The UN acknowledges that these goals and targets are very ambitious, but it is a transformational vision. And what it's saying is that the sustainability of our world is dependent on all of us working together, and it is essentially a call to action. The SDGs cover climate change, health, economy, geopolitical power, digital economy, agriculture, access to food, health, all elements to a sustainable future. ICLIS was actively involved in the creation of this agenda, advocating for the inclusion of access to information, safeguarding of cultural heritage, universal literacy, and access to ICT in this framework. ICLIS continues to be active in the United Nations, advocating the critical role that libraries can contribute to the achievement of these SDGs. And ICLIS' position is that access to information is essential to achieving the SDGs, and that libraries are not only partners to governments, but they are already contributing to progress, the achievement of these goals. The SDGs can be an effective advocacy tool for libraries to enable conversations with governments, stakeholders and communities. Each government is reporting their progress against their targets, so it's an opportunity for libraries to provide input into what they're doing to support the achievement of the SDG targets. So again, as you can see, the values of our profession are very much linked to the SDGs as well as the Public Library Manifesto. And these overarching frameworks support our work, but they're a really powerful advocacy tool for our work. So the United Nations agenda has 3 universal values, and particularly focusing on the second one there today, leave no one behind. It really represents a clear commitment from the nations of the United Nations to eradicate poverty in all its form and discrimination and inclusion. And as libraries, we should be focusing on addressing discrimination, inequalities that are undermining human rights. And there's so much that we can do. Reducing inequalities and ensuring that no one is left behind is really integral to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. And as I've said, libraries can really play a key role in addressing those inequalities through the provision of collections, services, and programs. So I had a look at some of the reports, and this is a really useful report that you may like to look at online. And you can see how Sri Lanka is progressing against the SDGs. We can see the index ranking, index score, and how it's rating in each of the SDGs, whether they're going up or down or staying fairly neutral. So libraries need to be monitoring how their countries are progressing against the targets. And this particular one is the Sri Lankan target for quality education. And you can see on the left-hand side how the work within Sri Lanka is being tracked. And it's good to see that quality education is going upwards, as you can see in this slide. So I do encourage you to have a look at those, and I've provided the link for those as well for you. Some of the work that IFLA has been doing is the library map of the world, and it provides information in the libraries of each country. As you can see on this slide, Sri Lanka is listed, and it has a profile of the libraries in Sri Lanka, but it is dated at 2016. So I do think we need to update that as well. Also, in the library map of the world, we are collecting case studies around what libraries are doing to support the achievement of SDGs. So here is a case study from Sri Lanka, and you can see here that it relates to the SDGs of 4, 5, 8, 10 and 17. I do encourage you to have a look at the library map of the world. You can check other case studies that are being undertaken by libraries around the world, and you might like to consider them. They're good to look at, they're really inspiring, and they can give you some ideas. What I'd now like to do is look at a couple of the specific SDGs and talk about the work that libraries are doing. So the first SDG that I'd like to talk about is goal number 4, quality education, which is really about ensuring equitable and quality education and promoting lifelong learning opportunities for all. You can imagine what life would be like without access to education. It is so important to the work that we do. And it is part of the UN's vision for 2030. Target 4.2 is that by 2030, all boys and girls are ready for their primary education. In Queensland, where I live, we are aware that our early literacy rates were below the national average. So we worked to implement an early literacy program called First 5 Forever. And we are delivering this program with public libraries. So I'd like to share with you now a short video about that program.
In the first years of life, our kids' brains are firing. They're forming hundreds of new brain connections every second. It's partly what they're born with, but their family life and experiences are important for healthy brain growth. As a scientist, I understand that the brain grows at its fastest in a child's first 5 years. As a parent, I know that giving your child a great start has benefits that last a whole lifetime. Taking the time to interact with our kids through everyday activities like sharing stories, talking, singing, and playing are the best way to get those little brains firing and to help our kids. Your local library is a great place to learn more. Visit yours today for free activities and support that will make the most of the first 5 years. Don't wait. Get involved today.
So that short video was really telling you about an early literacy program that we've been conducting at State Library for about 5 years now, and it's really focused on building the literacy of our young people, particularly in the first 5 years of life. What I'd now like to focus on is goal number 10, which is around reduced inequalities within and among countries and populations by extending access to technologies and knowledge to disadvantaged segments of society. I think we're all aware within our countries that there are people who are digitally excluded. And in Australia, it is the same. There are segments in our community who do not have equal access to the digital environment. And that sometimes is around their ability to access the technology, their access and the affordability. I'm aware by looking at some of the website that the Sri Lankan government has launched a campaign called Technology-Based Society and a Smart Nation. So in planning our service delivery in our libraries, we really need to be thinking about how we can address digital exclusion of groups within our communities. In Queensland, we know that there are communities that are being left behind, and one of those communities is our First Nations communities. And we've been working with Telstra, who are Australia's largest telecommunications company, and we've also worked with the communities of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders to address their digital exclusion. So I'm just going to share with you a short video around some of that work. Sorry, the slides have looks like this. I've lost the slide. I'm sorry. I'll have to provide the link at a later time. So I'll just skip that one. Sorry. So if we then go to goal number 16, which is around promoting justice and strong institutions, which again has really strong links to the values of libraries, the freedom of expression, the fundamental freedom of expression is really about the work that we're doing as well, and does relate very much to the work of libraries, ensuring that public access to information and protecting fundamental freedoms in accordance with national legislation and international agreements. This is a great quote from someone you've probably heard, David Lankies, who's really well known for this quote, that great libraries build great communities. And it comes from his original tweet back in 2002. But he also said, bad libraries build collections, good libraries build services, of which a collection is but one. But great libraries build great communities. And I think that comes back to our theme for today's conference. He also went on to say that great libraries can have great buildings or lousy buildings or no buildings at all. Great libraries can have millions of volumes or none. But great libraries always have great librarians who engage the community and seek to identify and help to fulfill the aspirations of their community. So I think what that's really telling us is the importance of people in the delivery of our services. It is its staff who are at the core of all our library services. Whether you are working in an academic, school, public, special health, law, government library, success is really driven by having the right staff who are valued for their knowledge and skills, respected in their communities, and dedicated to local outcomes. As you can see from this slide, an Australian Future of Work report confirms that we will continue to experience challenges in accessing staff with the right skills at the right time. There's also a report from America that tells us about the skills and the highest demand skills that are emerging since 2015. And they're around artificial intelligence and machine learning, cloud computing, product management, and social media. As we think of our work now and into the future, we need to be planning and building our workforce with the skills that we need to create the best outcomes for our communities. I'm just going to share with you just briefly, an article that I read recently in Harvard Business Review on the 5 principles of purposeful leadership. It proposes today that our organisations need to have different types of leaders. Our organisations no longer expect to have the hero leader, the person who can save the day, but leadership is based on attributes. And the author of the article, who was Hubert Jolly, proposed that there are 5 principles or characteristics that will result in purpose-driven leadership. And they are, I've listed them on the screen for you. We need to be clear about our purpose, be clear about our role, be clear about whom we serve, and be driven by our values, and most importantly, to be authentic. These characteristics will support us to respond to the challenges to freedom of information and freedom of expression, but they also help us to inform our development to ensure that we have the right skills at the right time and we're delivering the right services to our community. They are very worthy personal leadership principles, and I believe no matter where you are in the organisational hierarchy, they can relate to your role in leading your library and delivering services to your community. When you consider your personal leadership values in the context of our professional values, which I talked about at the beginning of this presentation, I believe that we all have a deep responsibility to the communities that we serve. We are all custodians of knowledge, and we have deep responsibilities to the people that we serve, but also to future generations. So today I've talked a little bit about the work of ICLIS, particularly around the Public Library Manifesto, the Sustainable Development Goals, and provided some links to a couple of the SDGs that will perhaps inspire you to think about what your library can be doing to support the SDGs. And I do encourage you to have a look at the sites regarding where Sri Lanka is succeeding and where there needs to be more work. But all of these activities can help to you helping to transform your community and also to build a resilient community. So I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to talk to you today. And I do hope that I have the opportunity to meet you either in Rotterdam or again in the future. Of course, the ICLIS will be having its World Library and Information Congress in Rotterdam in August, and I know that some Sri Lankan colleagues will be attending. So thank you once again for the opportunity to talk with you today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, madam, and please accept the token of appreciation for your insightful words on SDGs in terms of library.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, now we have come to witness the genuine research outcome of our conference, the launching of e-conference proceeding of ICLIS 2023. So I cordially invite Dr. Ananda Tissa, the President, Sri Lanka Library Association, and Dr. M.M. Masrufa, the Chief Editor, Sri Lanka Library Association, to launch the e-conference proceeding of ICLIS 2023. We must thank all the authors, organizers, and also the review team of ICLIS 2023 for producing such an eye-catching conference proceedings this time. Books are portable magic. Let me invite Ms. Kanya Pires, Program Manager, Let's Read Project of Asia Foundation, to show you a magic.
Thank you very much. Dr. Ananda Tissa, President of Sri Lanka Library Association, Ms. Himali Jinadasa, our Chief Guest this morning, Mrs. Vicky McDonald, Keynote Speaker, esteemed speakers, fellow members, associate members, and members of the Sri Lanka Library Association, ladies and gentlemen. When Dr. Mashrufa shared the agenda with me, I was really pleased to see some familiar faces among the speakers. I was particularly happy to see Himali Jinadas as chief guest. She was the director at the Peace Secretariat when I started my first job there under her. It's certainly been quite a few years since then, but I recall very well her passion for promoting books and reading through our projects whenever possible. And one project in particular that she mentioned very briefly, where books were sent to schools in the northern and eastern provinces of the country, was ironically my introduction to the foundation, which I joined a few years later, and I'm happy to represent today. Thank you very much to the Library Association for the invitation to tell you all a little bit about our books program that has been operational in Sri Lanka for over 60 years. I'm joined by a few of my own team, including Mr. Anton Nalatambi, the Director of Books for Asia, and Joel Janardhan, a Senior IT Officer, who will do a quick demonstration of the Let's Read platform in a few minutes. Mr. Nalatambi is, I'm sure, no stranger to many of you. He has led the Foundation's long-standing efforts in promoting learning and reading through book distributions to libraries, schools, and other institutions of professional development across the country. With the COVID pandemic, organizations everywhere were compelled to think of new and innovative ways of continuing their work. For our program team, this meant ensuring that students, teachers, and parents had continued access to books within their own homes. It is against this backdrop that the Asia Foundation's Let's Read initiative was launched. Let's Read is a digital library that can be accessed online and through mobile apps free of charge. The platform currently has over 10,000 books in 57 languages, including English, Sinhala, and Tamil. The program creates beautifully crafted storybooks for young readers, and in doing so, it strives to work with and capacitate budding authors and illustrators as well. Working with many young book creators, the Foundation's office here in Sri Lanka recently developed a set of 12 books that focused on common humanistic values such as honesty, respect for others, peace, and working together. This was initiated to promote social cohesion among young readers, particularly in multi-ethnic districts, where events of the past, together with linguistic barriers, have at times led to skepticism of individuals from other religious and ethnic backgrounds. Similarly, there are thematic series of books produced by the Foundation's other country officers. The Pacific Islands has created a series on the wonders of the ocean. The Nepal office has created a series that teaches children about folktales of that country, and we are just completing the development of a series on books that focus on promoting the concept of financial literacy with the support of the Ministry of Education in the Maldives. For teachers and parents, therefore, Let's Read offers an incredibly diverse resource of high-quality children's books that allow young readers to learn and grow, with stories from both within and outside their own culture. Books on Let's Read focus on 15 categories, including nature, adventure, science, health, and friendships. Simply put, there is something to captivate the interests of every child. This wide range of content has ensured that Let's Read has been well received throughout Asia, particularly in the 18 countries where the Asia Foundation is operational. To give you a sense of this here in Sri Lanka, in May alone, over 1,000 books were read on the platform, while in the last 12 months, over 17,000 books have been read and downloaded. 3 years since its launch, the platform's popularity has been sustained with support from our long-standing partner, the National Library Services Board, that has been instrumental in facilitating regular read-aloud sessions for young children and conducting interactive and thought-provoking discussions on topics that are important to nurture any young mind. Particularly with our conference in mind, I think all of us may agree that books in any form are a wonderful and powerful gift. Books open your mind, broaden your thinking, strengthen your self-confidence as nothing else can. Books spark the imagination, let you dream about the impossible, and help you think more clearly about what's possible. In times of difficulty, much of which Sri Lanka has seen lately, books inspire us to explore, achieve, build resilience, and contribute to improving our quality of life. On behalf of the Asia Foundation's team here, let me wish all of you the very best in your goals to promote learning and reading. We at the Asia Foundation continue to pledge our long-term commitment to Sri Lanka and to the education and progress of its people through our own work. I would like to hand over to my colleague Joel. He will give you a quick run through of the Let's Read platform and give you a better understanding of how it works.
Yeah, thank you, Kanya. Good morning to everyone. I'll be doing a small demonstration on the Let's Read digital platform and what are the features available on the platform, and then how best you can make use of this free platform. Let me first share my screen. Yeah, I hope you all can see my screen. So this is the Let's Read digital platform, which is a free platform for everyone to use. You don't have to pay any subscriptions, or you don't have to create any accounts to get into the website. So the URL goes as letsreadasia.org. Once you are in the platform, there are some key features which you can make use of. So one of the features of the platform is the language of the interface. So this platform is available in 56 languages. Sinhala and Tamil language has been included into the platform. So you can change this interface into these local languages. So you just have to simply select this language and then click OK, and the interface will be changed, and you can use the platform in Sinhala and Tamil and English as well. One of the other features which is available on the platform is called the filtering option. So as Kanya mentioned, we have categorized these books into 15 different categories. So you can filter them from these filter option, and then you can start reading of the books which you wish to read. We have currently more than 1,000 books in English language, and also more than 300 books in Sinhala and Tamil. So what we do is we translate these English books into the local language and upload it into the platform, so that the children can read the books in Sinhala and Tamil as well. One of the other key feature what we have on the platform is the audiobook. So we have started including audiobooks into the platform. I will show you one of the books of the audio. I hope you can hear the sound. Yeah, that's an example of the audiobooks which are available on the platform. So currently we are having around 69 books, but we are working on improving the numbers, and then we are trying to include more audiobooks into the platform. There's another feature also, it's sign language videos. So we have books on sign language as well. So we are working on including those books as well. I will quickly show you one example of a sign language book. Yeah, so that was an example of a sign language book which is available on the platform. Another key feature of the platform is you can download these books into your mobile devices. So as Kanya mentioned, this application is available on iOS and also Android as well. So you can download it from the respective Google Store and also the App Store. So the app is also free of charge, so that you can download it into your mobile devices, and you can download these books to your devices and you can read it offline. So you can download it in PDF, and also you can download it in EPUB version as well. Yeah. So another feature which is available on the platform is called to create an account on your devices. So what this feature does is you can create a profile for the children who's reading, and then they can monitor the usage of the platform. So each day they can set reminders, and also they can monitor the reading duration, like each day how many minutes they have read and how many books they have read. So this is the key feature and a good feature to have to achieve goals, and you can set goals for your children to read the books every day. Yeah, this is the feature of the Let's Read digital platform. Apart from this, we have also created a Facebook page for our Let's Read platform. The channel goes as Let's Read Sri Lanka and Maldives. So we update the daily activities what we do with the Let's Read program. So as Kanya mentioned, we'll be having reading activities for children each month in all 3 languages. So all those details will be shared on this Let's Read Facebook page. So feel free to follow and then share it, and then make use of this free platform. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam and Sir, for your value-added demonstration. And our sincere gratitude definitely goes to you, Asia Foundation, for their generosity being our main sponsor in ICLIS 2023. Good intentions die unless they are executed. There were many individuals and organizations behind the screen to make this conference a success. Mrs. Divya Janan, Conference Secretary, ICLIS 2023, is here to deliver the formal vote of thanks.
Good morning, all. Thank you is such a prayer that cannot be seen by touched. It must be felt by heart. I feel honored and privileged to get the opportunity to propose a vote of thanks on this special occasion. I would like to thank all the honorable delegates who blessed us with their presence. I'm also very much thankful to all the program advisory committee members, President, General Secretary, President-elect of Sri Lanka Library Association, and all the council members. Words are not enough to thank their constant guidance and support to shape the conference at this level. I, on behalf of Research Committee, convey my deep regards and hearty thanks to our Honorable Chief Guest, Mrs. Himali Jinadasa, the Coordinator, Sri Lanka UNESCO, New Delhi Cluster Office for Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Nepal, the Maldives, and Sri Lanka. I'm also thankful to our guest of honor, Mrs. Ruvini Sanaviratna, Senior Manager, Party Assurance and Complaints. My special thanks to our keynote speaker, Mrs. Vicky McNaughton. She's the President-elect of IFLA. Today, my words are not enough to express the gratitude to all the speakers who graced us with their kind words. I'm very much thankful to our plenary session chair, Dr. Mrs. Pradeepa Vijayatunga, Director, National Institute of Library and Information Science, University of Colombo. Also, extend our thanks to all our invited speakers for the plenary session, chairpersons for the technical sessions, and the moderators. I would like to thank our convener, Dr. M.M. Mashrufa, Senior Assistant Librarian, Southeastern University of Sri Lanka, for her constant help, guidance that radiated a source of energy within us. We will ever remain grateful to you, Madam, and we thank you for being with us today. An event of this dimension cannot happen overnight. The wheels started rolling months in advance. We have been fortunate enough to be backed by a team of of very motivated and dedicated research committee members, editorial committee members, reviewer panels, webmaster, IT committee members, and the evaluation panel members who have spent their valuable time with us. I cannot thank everyone enough for the involvement they have shown and the willingness they have expressed to make this event and the completion of the task beyond their comfort zone. I'm very much thankful to the sponsors, the Asia Foundation Sri Lanka, for their valuable sponsorship for ICLIS 2023. It would have been impossible to organize it without your support. I would also thank the TIKM event management team for their valuable support. This event was not possible without your great support. Thank you very much. Again, at the end, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the authors for their valuable scholarly contribution and all the participants who have joined at the inaugural session. If time is a money, then today you have spent a million for us. Thank you all for your making this event successful. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam, for your sincere thanking. To accomplish great things, we must not only act, but also dream. Not only plan, but also believe. Ladies and gentlemen, I have an important announcement for you all. We quickly go for a 15 minutes break and join technical session with the provided link. So let's rise for the national anthem to wrap up the inauguration of International Conference on Library and Information Science, ICLIS 2023. I am Trishala. Thank you and stay tuned. Have a wonderful day.